y'all know the rules. Please remember to tip those Wookiee bartenders 20% on the way in and out. That'd be 40%, but hey, you do whatever they want. No droids, no bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies, no Kyle Ron fans of any kind. None of that. Go on, go in your house. I have to put the dog in his house. The furry Wookiee got himself tangled up and basically freaked out. It was kind of funny, to be honest. Lost his shit. Anyway, but yeah, I'm here and I want to talk a little bit about. Hey, Carl. Hey, Senator Dave. A little bit about what's going on with Pablo Hidalgo. Well, no, not him exactly, but and Gina. Apparently, hey, Dave. Apparently, according to Doomcock sources, and I don't know what Drunk 3PO would say because he's kind of the resident authority on Gina since they're friends, but I didn't talk Star Wars with her at all. Okay. Apparently, according to Doomcock sources, grain of salt, Gina's been seen on the set of the Book of Boba Fett. Here's the thing, and this is why it wouldn't surprise me. Her problem wasn't on the set of The Mandalorian. Her problem wasn't with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and I got a big piece of juicy rumor mongering here that, if it's true, is the greatest piece of 4D set I've seen anybody play in my entire life. And you know I worked on Capitol Hill where that is a thing they all do. But anyway, she was seen on the set of the Book of Boba Fett. She's friends with Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau created the character of Cara Dune specifically for her. She's friends with Pedro Pascal. Yes, you can actually be good friends with people and disagree with them and not have a shit fit and break out into hives. Apparently, Pablo Hidalgo and the rest of the swill that swims around the toilet bowl that is the story group can't seem to understand that. But yes, you can. She's friends with Carl Weathers, who's been quietly but obviously supportive of her. Disney has actually nominated her to be nominated for an Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Think about it. That's huge. Okay, that is huge. I think personally, in my opinion, I think it was Favreau who did it. But again, we go back to the Bob Iger and the Gina Carano did nothing wrong Photoshop t-shirt where they're saying thanks Bob with a wink at the end of it. Why would you poke the bear? You know, and I'm going to say something that people say, no, she'll never. First off, I said this yesterday, I'll say it again. Ben Shapiro is a good guy. Ben Shapiro also has made his name going on college campuses and verbally beating down college students. Okay. Run, Hide, Fight, I guess was a good movie. I haven't seen it, but I am a semi alumnus of Breitbart, and I wrote stuff for Breitbart before Andrew passed away. I was a very good friend of Mike Flynn, who was the editor of Big Government. Great guy, by the way. Really, really, him and Andrew were magnificent. I mean, they're magnificent people. I was never impressed with Ben. I don't want to see Gina ghettoize herself. Okay? Off into the conservative ghetto where, you know, you're making low budget movies that are terribly written etc., etc. There's no, I mean, there's independent movies and then there's that. Okay. That is where Kevin Sorbo has found himself. I don't want to see her there. Okay. That's my problem with Ben Shapiro, is that you stigmatize yourself and, you know, I don't think she should do that. And I want her to be able to go into any movie she wants. Because she's a good actress, she's a great performer, she's a good person, and she's one of those people that deserves better than what she's gotten. And I don't really think the conservative ghetto in Hollywood is the place for her to be. But of course, you know, Jim Caviezel doesn't get the roles he should, and he's a magnificent actor. I don't know what Mel Gibson did, but even he is not following the big budget. Hey, Vader fanatic. He is not following the big budget Hollywood mainstream thing anymore. I mean, Fat Man was an independent movie. Fat Man is awesome. Fat Man is one of my all-time favorite movies. I loved the participation trophy line. He's a better actor than they give him credit for too. I'm going to say that right now. So Mel, you know, I want her to be able to do that, but I also want her to be able to be respected among everybody. And if she and Pedro Pascal can be friends, then I don't understand any of this, because if Carl Weathers was like, hey, come on, what the hell is this? I'm pretty sure Pascal was like, hey, come on, what the hell is this? I said worse. Okay, so if she was seen on the set of Mando, or the Book of Boba Fett, it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. Jay would say she's happy doing all this, that she doesn't really need it. Well, then they don't talk about Star Wars. Okay? They don't talk about Star Wars. So, you know, and it's probably good on her part that they don't. All right? It's probably wise that they don't. It's probably wise on his part that they don't. Okay? We will eventually find out everything that happened on the set. I do know that they changed makeup artists on her at the last moment. It was a Kennedy call or whatever. You know, the animation department, even for Mando, which is Hal Hickel, they had it in for her. You know, these you know, echo chamber dwelling left-wing fascists really have a hard time with other people if you don't mimic everything they do and everything they say. Yes, he would. I mean, he would leak. He didn't really leak Luke showing up because he didn't know. Gina didn't know. They didn't know what Jedi it was. They didn't see who it was. They didn't. The guy was in the movement sort of thing, said what he said. You know, any of it, and didn't say what his name was. Okay, I was waiting for Luke to say, "I'm Luke Skywalker." But when you think about it, he didn't have to. Because I'm going to say this once, I'll say it again. Everybody except for Mando knew who that was. You bet the reason why Moff Gideon tried to off himself is because he saw Red 5 and said, oh shit, that's Skywalker. Okay? It wasn't just any Jedi. That when he saw him, oh hey man, Piranha, then when he saw him on the screen doing what he was doing, he was like, that's Luke Skywalker. They find out we're done. I can't be captured alive. I know too much. And then he got the elbow in the jaw from Cara Dune and went to the big sleep for a little while. All right, but he knew who it was. Dune knew who it was. Bo-Katan knew who it was. Her, Fennec Shand knew who that was. Was that Fennec Shand? Yeah. Or was it the other man? Yeah, and the other Mandalorian knew who it was. Why? You couldn't be doing what they were doing out in the galaxy without knowing who Luke Skywalker was. And Bo-Katan definitely knew who his father was. All right? Everybody knew in that room except for Mando. Just, that is the way it is. So let's go to the heir to the heart of the Jedi. This is a good one. This is really awesome. If this is true, I bow to Jon Favreau. Oh, he knew it was Luke. He knew he was fucked and he knew it was Luke. Period, full stop, Matt Brana. He knew. He knew exactly who that was. Okay. Heart of the Jedi comes out and just mercilessly beats down the Stoned Republic into the ground. Oh, Maze, I'm so sorry. Guys, Maze is experiencing some difficulty, so if you say a prayer for him, that would be nice. Thanks. Oh, hi. Anyway, when I heard this story, I was like, we're not worthy of this. We're not worthy, we're not worthy, we're not worthy. Here's the rumor that somehow Dave Filoni was the one that brought out Heart of the Jedi and brought it to the attention of Jon Favreau. And suddenly, without any fanfare from anybody, it was printed up. And it looks, according to the rumor, that Favreau wanted to show Disney just how bad the Stoned Republic really was. That Star Wars fans want content. They don't want garbage. Okay? And I don't care who you are. If you're a fan of the High Republic, I feel bad for you. I question your intellect. If it's true, he really drove a lesson home. And if you don't believe that none, I'm going to say this, I don't think any of those novels, except for maybe Light of the Jedi for about a day, was in the top 100 best sellers. Okay? In all, the general category. This is the top 100 books, period, on Amazon that are selling around the world. And it went up as high as 25. Light of the Jedi, I don't think was higher than 60, and then it was gone. Okay? Why don't y'all just sit back and think about that? If Favreau was behind that, it was a lesson that even Pablo Hidalgo can't deny. What they're putting out there is garbage. You know, just go on your old troll account and bitch and moan and cry about, you know, little kids like Star Wars and it's only written for 12-year-olds. And then have one of your loser followers quote George Lucas out of context. Okay, I know what he said. There's a video with him saying it. Star Wars is for kids and the kids in all of us. Okay, so Pablo, go find another job. Okay, do it. Now, with that being said, Kennedy, one of the rumors is that she basically has an office and that's it. She's on vacation until October, where she will get, and I've said this before, awards and showered with praise and then sent off on a float. And basically, her only real thing right now is producing Indy 5. Okay. You know, and I'm going, don't fuck it up. Just don't fuck it up. And every time I think about it, I think of Harrison Ford looking at the script saying, you know, not being happy if it wasn't what he wanted. And he is, I've read this, I've seen this. He is the last one. He is the one the script has to pass now. Spielberg is there. He's a hands-on producer. He's probably taken over from where Kennedy was anyway. And he's not even really the one that goes yes and no on this. It's Harrison. And somewhere in the mix, like a Force ghost, is George. Okay, we don't know what the story's going to be about. There's a rumor out there that a Scottish castle has been bought or rented out by Lucasfilm. So we might get the haunted house that George talked about, because he wanted to do a haunted house indie thing. All right, blue check marks. You might want to take this guy out. This Joseph Pierman. Dave Bays, run him off, please. Thank you. You know, thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Anyway, so I don't know. I mean, we're not gonna know. My favorite. Oh no! Don't take out Trayla. Trayla's fine, Dave. Don't. It was Joseph Pearman and Pensac took care of him. Anyway, but we don't know. But I do know that again that George had wanted to do a haunted house on for an indie show, and he talked about it at great lengths for The Last Crusade, and Spielberg was like, no. Now the house, the castle that they were holding, Henry Jones Sr. Oh shit. Okay. All right. Trayla, don't leave. Henry Jones Sr. was sort of supposed to be that haunted house, but we don't know what object is going to be. Hey, old redneck nerd, is going to be, searched for. I'm still hoping it's a Spear of Destiny, the Sword of Longinus, whatever you want to call it, because it would be in keeping with the Lost Ark and the Holy Grail. So, I'm hoping it's something like that because that would be cool. Either that or Excalibur. That would be cool too. It would also be kind of a middle finger to Pablo and JJ and Ruin Johnson because, they treated Anakin's lightsaber like it was nothing more than a MacGuffin and that no one cared about. All right, a mystery box that no one gave a shit about. And when completely bypassing the meaning behind when Obi-Wan gave Luke the lightsaber to begin with. Okay, there's no legacy in it anymore because they took it out because they don't believe in that. Okay, let the past die. Well, fuck you, the past can't die. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to fulfill it. You guys are doing a really good job too, by the way, you fascists. There you go. So anyway, and back to Kennedy. Basically that she's in the process of being gone. She's on permanent vacation or she's gone. And now it's just a battle of who gets to aim, take the ship of Star Wars and point it in the right direction. And I think with The Heart of the Jedi coming out and it being such a big seller, I think Favreau is winning that. But I don't think Pablo's smart enough. I know he's not smart enough. I mean, look, his public account used to be a troll account. I found it. He also had another account called Daily Plunge that he was trolling people with. He had another account that I think he was King of Peons called. And then that one disappeared. It's really funny is when he got in trouble over a Star Wars theory, that Daily Plunge account was gone. Like literally within the hour. That account was gone. And now we got this new one back. Okay, and it's a troll account. I found it before. I think they're going to wait until they get everything else situated. They haven't even started filming Mandalorian 3. And I think, you've got to have it. You've got to have it. It's got to be a place where she feels comfortable, that where she's not going to run into bullshit, where, there aren't going to be hashtags fire Gina Carano coming from inside the same company. And that means a complete disinfecting, delousing of Lucasfilm. Not only getting rid of Pablo, but all of them. In fact, when Drunk talks about who are the major players were that were really harassing Gina, it's Pablo. It always ends up, it doesn't matter what it is, but if it's some bullshit and it involves the story group, ultimately, he is the jackass behind it. And this is the thing I want to talk about. I think we've got a handle on the Kennedy thing. Keep pushing, but there's no reason why we can't do both. All right? We need to start concentrating fire on... Oh, I agree, Piranha. And maybe because if you notice, a lot of these people are suddenly now acting very generic on Twitter. I do think that handing personal phones in so their phones could be looked at to see what apps they're using probably was a sign that something like that's coming. But, they're all acting very generic. The only thing that Pablo said that really burned me up was he was retweeting some jackass who's a Star Wars fan, probably older than me, complaining that Star Wars is only for 12-year-olds. Okay, fucker, why are you here then? Pablo Hidalgo himself is almost 50 years old. He's 47, he'll be 48 in October. What the fuck? Okay, whatever, dude. Whatever trips your trigger. But I want to know. Good morning, Anton. I want to know, who the hell do you think you are at the age of 47 with this job telling... Oh yeah, you're right, Piranha. All right, I'm gonna... Joseph, fuck you, and get the fuck off this channel right now, okay? Pablo Hidalgo's a goddamn left-wing fascist piece of shit, okay? And he wouldn't work for me. If I ran Lucasfilm, he'd be the first one gone. Off the end of my Manolo Blahnik, out into the middle of San Francisco Bay. Okay, how's that? All right, and then his wife, and then Matt Martin, and then all of them would be gone. Thanks, Senna Dave. There's only so much bullshit you can tolerate, and they're terrified right now. I mean, this cocksucker who just showed up here, and yeah, I'll say that. They're afraid. They're terrified. They really are, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I'm thrilled. Be afraid. You did this. You brought this on yourselves. You did this. You did this. Gina didn't do it. You did. Jon Favreau didn't do it. You did. The fans didn't do it. We're all merely reacting by the shitty way we've been treated for the last 8 years by human wastes of space, by wastes of DNA. Okay, like Pablo, Martin, and the rest of that shit. And also their auxiliaries. That piece of shit, creepy, greasy Steele Saunders, that perverted pedophile Jason Ward, that jagoff Pete Fletcher. I mean, that guy has got to be 60 years old, and he's attacking people for being older. All right, if I was to find a picture of him and post it, you guys wouldn't let that guy near your daughters if they were underage, even if they were of age. He's a creep. He's a fucking creep, okay? And he's friends with Jason Ward. He's the biggest creep of all. You know, Hello Greedo. And of course, those two insipid morons who are just absolutely shitting themselves over the Heart of the Jedi. Oh, they are a bunch of knobs, cruel. Heart of the Jedi, Alex and Molly at Star Wars Explained. You know, you know, we've been abused, we've been bullied, we've been maligned, we've been called every name in the book because we simply didn't like what they were doing to Star Wars. You know, objectively, if you are, let's say like you were a fan of the original trilogy, and like my husband, and you sat down and watched a couple of scenes from The Force Awakens. He did. He got up and said, "That's a piece of shit movie. That's a piece of shit movie." Okay, that's an objective statement. But I'm sure he'd be getting called names like, "You're a misogynist. You're an istinophobe." You know. And I'm sick. We're sick of it. And they got away with it because Kennedy was so detached from what was going on that she had no idea how bad it was getting. Okay? You know, now you got Freddie Prinze Jr. having a Coke and inspired meltdown at the fans on Twitter because they let him do the voice of the young Kanan Jarrus in Bad Batch. I didn't know it was him. And I honestly think it got to the point where people were mocking him just to see him lose his shit. Fine by me. I don't care. I really don't. But it's all very interesting to me that this is all now happening. I am really intrigued about where this is going to go. But we have to concentrate on getting Disney to look at Hidalgo and how much money he's cost them. He did go off again. I think they were just, I think people were just egging him on because, and laughing at him. I actually kind of feel sorry for the guy. He's nuts. I mean, he's batshit crazy. There's no doubt. Okay. But, he started freaking out, and it was fairly funny to watch. I feel sorry for his wife. I don't know why she puts up with this shit. I really, really don't. Because I know I wouldn't. But my husband doesn't go on Twitter and make an ass of himself. He's a grown-up. All right, he's, a retired Marine Corps colonel. So, he doesn't really have that kind of mentality anyway to go on Twitter and be a dick or go on online in general and do that shit. You have to be really immature and kind of a bully to do that. Honestly, Mad, I think if Freddie Sr. was still alive and had been able to raise that guy, he might have actually turned out to be a better human being. I really don't understand why Sarah Michelle lets him do what he does. I would have kicked him in the ass. What the hell are you doing? What a fine example for our children. What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay? It's a way, look, the guy might be upset and bitter because his career is just non-existent. He has basically one thing he's doing right now, and that's anytime they need to have a Kanan Jarrus moment in one of the Star Wars episodes, there he is. Okay? For some reason, Filoni keeps bringing him back. I don't know why. I don't think he should. One of the things I would do was I would probably tell Dave, do we really need him? Bring somebody else back to do the voice, because this guy is bad. Yeah, you're right, man, Piranha. And that's exactly what it looks like, you know. But we have to concentrate on getting Disney to notice Pablo. Not that they don't notice Pablo, I'm sure they do. But there has to be a popular movement now to get him out of there, okay? He has to go. I keep telling people, ask about Pablo. What's he doing? Okay? Because he's actually the ultimate bad guy in all this. All right? He really is. You know, when Gina apparently mentioned that to Drunk, everything started making sense. Everything started making sense because there's no reason for any of this to have happened, but for someone instigating in the background. Pablo never should have been allowed on the set of The Mandalorian. He never should have been allowed anywhere near any of that stuff. It's not his area anyway. He does publishing, so he should just publish away and hang out with his weirdo friends, and let the storytellers do what they do. But he was there. He got into argument with Gina, and then ran to Queen Kathy crying because he's a crybaby. Really, when you think about it, and you look at the long lens from October Halloween of 2012, all the way to now, that guy's been nothing but a horrible cancer on Disney itself for close to a decade. How many billions of dollars were left on the desk because Kennedy was too stupid to go through what he was telling her and find out if it was true or not, or if it would work. All right? I really think that she dropped the ball big time on a lot of this. And if she had been paying attention, most of the stuff probably wouldn't have happened in the way it has. At least the attacks on the fandom. Kanan Jarrus, Takari, so we really need to concentrate on removing Hidalgo from Lucasfilm. Maybe he's on the way out. Lorena Creel is going to have Cameron on later today. So you guys might want to listen in and say hi there. He'll have a lot to say about this stuff. All right. Thursday, I don't know when the Disney investors call is, but it'll be Thursday. Hopefully, pray Chapek makes some sort of an announcement. It would, first off, if someone mentions Hidalgo and says, why hasn't he been fired yet? And then mentions how badly the High Republic has failed. Yep, it's on at 5 p.m. Eastern. That'll be great if they do that. That will be awesome. Okay. If someone would do that, I don't think anybody would, but if I was an investor and was able to call in and ask a question, I would ask that question. I would say, this guy's cost investors billions of dollars He's done nothing but cause trouble with the customer base and has produced nothing but unreadable crap. Okay, bye, Anton. Well, it'll be, if he says that she's leaving in October on during the investors call, that champagne's opening. But I really want to hear Lucasfilm is restructuring, and because of the restructuring, Pablo Hidalgo and Story Group have been disbanded, and they're basically their jobs are being terminated. Then we could yub nub, because then we know we won. I mean, at least something. We won something, all right? You know, they basically have already started retconning the Story Group stuff. I mean, the Kanan Jarrus, how Order 66 happened with him was retconned in the Bad Batch from the comic book. And then I think the Bad Batch has already retconned some of the backstory for Aftermath. I'm sure, look, I mean, I'm going to be very honest. I'm sure Jon Favreau never read Aftermath. I don't think he could probably stomach, I don't know what would replace the Story Group. I mean, I've still got to finish my Han Solo and revamp my Han Solo origin story and edit it for Coach and Nick. And so, I got that to do. But I think they could find people who really love Star Wars, or just, bring some of the stories in the EU back and, pay the royalties to the writers. And, I'm going to tell you something. If Disney, the only reason why they got rid of the EU, yeah, I'm mad, probably. If the only reason why they got rid of the EU on their side was so they didn't have to pay royalties, how much goddamn money did they spend with new contracts for Claudia Gray and the rest of that garbage? Oh, it's just a short story, John. I wrote it, had it published, and I'm gonna revamp it. There's some problems with it, but I got to go through it and do it part by part. And I want to finish it all in one day. It's got just twerks or tweaks and stuff to it. It kind of is the thing I was working on. It's Han as you could imagine him being, that would turn into the Solo we met at the cantina in Mos Eisley. It is very it's him more flashbacks talking to this woman who's she owns this cantina on Nar Shaddaa, and he doesn't have any money. I mean, he's broke, and she kind of feels sorry for him, so she befriends him and Chewie, and he's trying to get Chewie to leave him alone, and because that was part of that story, was he didn't want anybody following him around, and he didn't want that, and he had Chewie there, following him around like a big dog, and it's part of that. And I elevated Mako Spence from friend to mentor in this, because I think that would make more sense within the Star Wars universe, how you tell stories like this. You want someone who's 10, 15 years older, 20 years older, to be able to teach, this is the way, young one, And when I look at the origin story that these brain dead little dweebs put together for that movie, it was bad. I mean, it was just bad. I mean, it wasn't There's no thought behind it. And where was Nar Shaddaa? Where was the smuggler's moon? You know, that is it's a very important place in Star Wars. You know, it's every bit as important as Tatooine is and Nal Hutta. All right, so you got to have it there. And I've actually used that place quite a few times because it gives you an idea. Like when you're writing about a place that's basically, yeah, okay, 4:30 p.m. Great. Okay, thanks. When you're looking at something like Nar Shaddaa, Mos Eisley, think about in our world, what would that be like? Dodge City, Kansas, Tombstone, Deadwood, South Dakota, Abilene, Prescott, Arizona. All right, then you've got it figured out. Okay, then you understand what kind of place this was. There isn't any law and order. They take care of themselves. Okay, they figure out their own problems out. All right, and I like that. I like that part of world building where you could bring something familiar into a place where the technology is far more advanced, where you can add different sentient species. But the problems that people face in a place like that are, you know, you're talking about a bunch of people who don't really have any moral compass, all right? But in that, the smugglers police themselves, okay? The smugglers police themselves, and that's where that's where it's interesting to me because it's different than the Old West, where the citizens living in the towns would hire sheriffs, would hire town marshals, and those guys could have been gunfighters and criminals down the road. They come here, say they want the job, they get the job, then they're the law and order guys. It's kind of what happened with Wyatt Earp, to be honest. But anyway, it's going to be very interesting to see. It would be really neat to be able to see Disney be able to admit they fucked up, get rid of that movie, and come up with something a little better. The character deserves to be treated better, period. And I really think that they could do it, and it would bring a lot of people back. All right, it would bring a lot of people back. If I can get the phone number for the Disney call, I'm gonna listen in. Well, Ray deserved not to be in the movie at all in any of these stories. Kyle Ron, Revenant, they both suck. Both those characters suck equally. Nothing you could do would fix them. Okay, they suck. They're shit. Okay, I don't want to hear about them. Kyle Ron is only there now as something that enables mentally ill women and teenage girls to be further crazy. That's it. I mean, there's a channel on here called Cinema Therapist, and they were basically trying to figure out every sort of clinical way they could to enable the little fucker to be what he was. Okay? And I'm like, I can't, you know what? You guys would do the same thing if you were talking about Charles Manson or Ted Bundy. All right? I don't care if it's a fictional character. Okay? Let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if they're real, like Vince Lombardi or Chuck Yeager or Theodore Roosevelt or, you know, Alvin York, or if they're Achilles, Hector, which probably were real, but let's say they were fictional, or Aeneas, or Han Solo, or Luke Skywalker. Little kids need their heroes, and heroes in fiction are just as important because they're examples of what you can be. All right? They're examples of struggle and of what you can be if you have the courage to be that person. Okay? And the people that wrote these movies know that. And you know, again, it's deconstructing the hero. This shit started in the 80s when I was in college. And I remember being just horribly angry about it. I think all the solo kids, in fact, I'd add a few more. I'd add another set of twins and then a little girl. You know, you could have done it. They could have done this so much better. They're middle aged. And one I think is a psychologist. I was like this. I was horrified. I'm like, go look it up. The channel is called Cinema Therapist. And it's like, I am Facebook friends with Fox News' old, the person that would show up on O'Reilly and Hannity, Keith Abloh. He's a psychiatrist. And he's a hard ass. And if I ever get my channel set up to where I can actually stream with other people here, I'll ask him to come on and ask him to look up Raylos, see their reactions to things, send him some of their artwork and some of their fan fiction and all the rest of this crap. And then, you know, have you seen the movies? Yes. What do you think? And I'll because psychiatrists are not the same as psychologists. Psychiatrists are like, no, you're crazy. I am not enabling you. Her name wasn't Ray. It was Kara. Okay. All right. It just, you know, anyway. But yeah, I would have him on, and then we could just tear it all apart, and it would be funny as hell. Ask him questions, and then me going, see, you don't get a safe space with us because there are none. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, but we have to concentrate on getting Pablo canned. I've asked Doomcock, start looking at Hidalgo. Okay? Start looking at him. I want to know what they're doing about him because they have to do something. The guy's a menace. And if he was the reason why all this shit started with Gina at Lucasfilm, he should be out. There should be no argument. You're gone. You're a dipshit. You're gone. Anyway, it is. I've been on here for an hour. You guys got any questions? So anyway, you know, going back, Gina rumored to have been spotted at I like the Bad Batch. We haven't started it yet. We're not gonna do it until this winter. Now I'm kind of worried about gas prices and stuff because our government let the pipeline down south get hacked. Who do I think could end up being the job? I don't, you know, do they really need a head of Lucasfilm? Do they really need somebody to do this? Or can it just be a creative director, and then someone that does the producing. You know, I don't know. I would nominate Jon Favreau. That would just be me. Okay. But so Gina's to rehash. Gina's been rumored to have been seen on the set of the Book of Boba Fett. Okay. Do I believe that? 50-50 chance it's true. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, at least Jon Favreau, probably Dave Filoni too. Filoni was the one that called his attention to this, helped get The Heart of the Jedi published just to show just how badly the Stoned Republic was doing. And if you notice, they have stopped advertising for the Stoned Republic. Okay? Oh, him? I would die. Oh my God. Mazeros, if he was here, he'd just start laughing. No, I would literally die. I would pass out. I don't know what I'd be like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't, you know, my channel's so small and a little bit controversial, I wouldn't really want him to be connected to it. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to do my own thing and not have it hurt anybody else. You know, I drop F-bombs. I say a lot of things. I use words I shouldn't. Probably hurts the algorithm. I don't care. You know, it's an artificial algorithm too. You know, I just, you know, I'd love to have a conversation with him in private, but no, I wouldn't want him to, you know, come here and then, you know, get lambasted. I don't know, Vader fanatic, I don't know. Well, Mad, again, you know, that might be, but I'm not. I would say go on, you know, go on Midnight's Edge, talk to those guys, go, you know, go on Lorena Creole's or, you know, somebody else's, because I don't want him to get smeared with that. I mean, I you know, I'm hurting my channel by saying the things I say. Hey, Latino Slant, how you doing? Polly's in the house. You know, so, no, Latino Slant could interview him and I could just be there, you know? But this channel is a little bit salty. You know, it's a place where authenticity can be translated into all kinds of really stupid things. So yeah, I would love to, but I'd have to get myself a personality appendectomy or like, you know, cut off the part of my brain that just gets bleh and spews. No, I'm not. Actually, I lost subs. Just a second. I lost subs a long time ago, and I'm getting them back now, slowly but surely. And I lost them when there was a big purge about 2 years ago. And I lost about 400. I need about 250 to get back to where I was. And if I can break 2,000, I'll be happy. You know, my channel was growing pretty well. And then they shadow banned me. I'm not getting the view. I mean, I had one video that had 14,000 views. And it was the one about the Last Jedi novel. And I was horrified by it. That fucking thing, that book, Jesus. You know, I just, horrendous. The guy who wrote it was his name, Jason Press. was forced to add the memorial for Han, and it was such a bullshit 4-page long thing that I couldn't believe it. I was really upset. I was really mad. I was really mad. But then, after how long have we been doing this? The attitude these people have about the franchise, what they're doing, what they're supposed to be guardians of, is like, you know, a cheap McDonald's hamburger in a plastic wrap. That's it. That's they don't care about it. They don't give a shit about anything. They really, really don't. And as appalled as I was then, none of what they've done in the past and what they're doing now has shocked me at all. I have absolutely no idea, Vader fanatic. We don't know if she was for sure on the set. Again, as Doomcock said, take it with a grain of salt. He has really good contacts, and it's smart to listen to what he says. Thanks, Revenant. It's smart to listen to what Clownfish TV say, and they have that Walt Disney World Pro dude writing for them, and of course the guys at Midnight's Edge. But until we have legit sources, which is why I just signed up for Hollywood Reporter emails and Variety emails, because I want to be the first one to see the legit stuff come out. Okay? I want to see it. The legit news. Blah, blah, blah is no longer at Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm shakeup, Pablo Hidalgo exits. Then that would be the day of Yub Nub. That would be the day of, I would not even be able to cry. I could be able to talk. I'd be so happy. Because, and people would, the usual suspects, they would complain. Well, the guys like to talk about a lot of different things at Midnight's Edge. So, Jason Fry, yeah, you got it. Jason Fry, I just remember a video of him saying, I just can't believe I was so lucky to get to work on this novel. The movie was so wonderful, and Ryan Johnson's just a genius. But this is the level of moron that we're dealing with. Okay? It's like, I know all these people went to college, but my dog is better educated than they are. Okay? My horse knows more. Which, incidentally, I gotta go see her. It is just mind-boggling to me watching all of them, and mind-boggling to me that the people at Lucasfilm won't accept the fact that they're not doing a good job, and they're not. I really can't deal with people who can't accept reality. They can't accept the fact that they failed. And the High Republic is a failure. The Star Wars canon under Hidalgo has been a failure. Okay? Star Wars movies under Kennedy, except for Rogue One, have been a goddamn clown show. All right, it's clown world there. And, you know, now we're seeing maybe there's something happening that's good. Okay. And if Kennedy's leaving, that's good because that will usher Hidalgo going too. But I really want. Oh, it does. I mean, the art is soulless. Everything about that. But if you think about the people who wrote it, you know, and I mean, even if you look at what they have to say, Kevin Scott and Charles Soule have no soul. Absolutely, there's nothing there. They're like when you're out walking through a swamp in Florida and you see an iguana. There's no personality. There you go. You know, you got Claudia Gray, who I'm still trying to figure out how someone like that gets a boyfriend, but you know, we can all just sit back in the corner and go, you know, how's that work? You know, and her preoccupation was with sexuality and sticking it every fucking place you can find it. I mean, you look at her, it's like, you are an advertisement for birth control. I mean, nasty looking, nasty woman. And, you know, she didn't care about Star Wars. I mean, that picture of her when they did their Brady Bunch Zoom meeting and she's doing this. She's a Trekkie. Howard Kurtzman is your hero. Go kiss his ass. Get the fuck out of here. Okay? I mean, and then of course we've got, you know, Justina Ireland. She's an instructor at the University of York, Pennsylvania, right down the road. She's a racist. And she said, I mean, she smeared the people of Montana, smeared white people in general. Horrible woman. Then you got Daniel Jose Older, who hates white men, but, you know, he's a little dwarf. You know, they don't like the franchise. They don't care about what they're doing. It's a resume filler. I mean, when I hear Charles Soule talk about how much he loves Star Wars, and then think of the dumpster fire that he's helped perpetuate, I look at him and say, man, you are known by your deeds, not your words. All right? And no, you don't love Star Wars. Okay, same thing with Pablo Hidalgo. Man, you are known by your deeds, not your words. No, you don't love Star Wars. You prove it every fucking day by the shit you produce. Okay? Simple as that. And now we find out he was probably the person behind the fire Gina Carano hashtag. You know? The guy can't handle anybody with a different opinion. He'd come on here right now and say that's not true, and I'm like, bullshit. That's bullshit. That is absolute fucking bullshit. All right? When, you know, he lives in San Francisco. He only goes to Canada. He doesn't leave the echo chamber. No, that would be Ariel, Christina Ariel. She is. I thought Claudia Gray was a lesbian, but she's not. But I think Justina may be. Because I don't see a black man of any sort putting up with their shit, even a woke one. I really, really don't. I just, no, you know. But I just, you know, but yeah, I mean, I can't, you know, I don't even remember what was my point again. But anyway, you know, you can't live in an echo chamber your whole life and expect to be good at art. Art is for people who think critically. And if you are woke to the point Pablo is, and he's a Maoist, then you can't think critically at all. You have no objectivity. I mean, I ran into a Jewish woman who went off on the Indiana Jones Facebook page about Disney having the props, the truck and the tank from Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade on, I think it's Disney World's, there in Hollywood, in the Hollywood part of the park. And I'm like going, what is your problem? And, she started screaming about the Holocaust, and I'm like, and then screaming at people who were like, you need to chillax. They're movie props. And I'm going, honey, I've studied that stuff. I've interviewed Holocaust survivors. I've talked to veterans. I've talked to people who turn your hair white. It turned my hair white when I found out who they were and what they did. 2 of them. All right? Don't tell me about this stuff. It's a movie prop. And if you saying a German cross from not World War II, those are painted with World War I markings, all right? You're offended by that? Grow the fuck up. I can't, I can't even, because history is a lesson in what not to do, okay? And we never learn it. And if you take away the lessons of history that we should learn, Armenian genocide, the Holocaust, the murder of the mass slaughter of Ukrainians, Rwanda, the millions murdered by Mao during the Great Leap Forward, Pol Pot, and things before that and after it. If you are, here's the deal. When you've got 20-year-olds going, World War II upsets me, I don't want to learn about it. You're going to learn about it. I don't care if it upsets you. I am the daughter of a veteran, World War II veteran. My uncles opened the camps, okay? I was that close to it from the stories they told me, okay? I have talked to people who were brutalized by the Nazis and by the Japanese, by the way. Okay, they weren't exactly friendly, and there's nothing to be afraid of because it's not you. It's not you. It's not about you. There's nothing to be afraid of or offended by it. The Holocaust is the Holocaust. What are you going to do when you go to Yad Vashem and you look at the exhibits? Gonna be offended there? Go to the United States Holocaust Museum. I've been many times. Gonna freak out there? You gotta look at history with critical eyes and thinking, all right? And too many people nowadays are narcissists and want to make everything about who? Them. And that's the problem. Okay, that is the ultimate problem. And that's the problem we face with Hidalgo and the story group, because it's not about Star Wars anymore. It's about them. Okay? And that's the problem. And that's why it sucks. You want to tell these people, no one gives a shit about you. No one cares about you. We want to read about Star Wars. We got Pablo hating normal people because daddy was victimized by Augusto Pinochet. Okay? So why are you hanging that on me? Why are you hanging that on George Lucas and his creation? The problem. They're, again, they are people who have emotional issues that have been enabled their whole life and are not taking responsibility for anything. And instead of working their problems out, if they have them, doing this and that and the other thing to make their lives better, they project all this bullshit on the rest of us and ruin the culture. And it's deliberate because they're victims. Okay, they can go online and bully the shit out of Gina Carano because ultimately they're bullies. But if you get in their faces, face to face, they'll run screaming. Okay, and they'll sit there and insist, I am a victim. I was a victim of this. Even though they started it, they perpetuated it, they're the ones at fault. But they will never, ever, 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 in the history of the human race, ever take responsibility. You know, ever, ever. I mean, I'm sure that if Pablo was ever had to face Bob Iger with evidence saying you were the one behind rewriting Ripley, you're lucky you didn't get Disney sued, because they would have won. Okay, Jeremy and Ethan and everybody would have won. You're the one behind Fire Gina. You're lucky she doesn't sue you. It's not my fault. You started this. Not my fault. I didn't do it. It's her fault. Okay, what's her fault? She thinks blah, blah, blah. It's like, and you can't deal with that? You fucking can't deal with someone with another opinion? So you go out of your way to destroy their lives? Get the out of my office. I don't want to see you. Clean your desk out. You're fired. Gone. Bye. Get out. That's how I would handle it. And and that's the way it should be handled, to me. Because people like that, they've gone too long being enabled, and they're hurting everything. Well, oh, hey, William. Here's the thing. Gina is not going to shut up. And when she got first raised the ire of Kennedy and, the little, minions, it was because she was asking questions. Legitimate questions. But you're not allowed to ask questions of authority or any at all that run contrary to the dogma of the Wokestanians, okay? Because the moment you start doing that, they get afraid because they're too chicken shit to ask questions. Even though I bet you if you peel back the onion and really start talking to them, you'd find out they have questions too. All right? But they're too afraid. They're too afraid, and they like the idea that they have some sort of power. That's all it's all about power. These people, felt powerless their whole lives, and, they work for a company like Lucasfilm and can manipulate algorithms on Twitter because of their connections and, see hashtags that are bullshit trend because they don't like somebody because she dared to ask questions. Oh my God. And there's the problem. They can't deal with it. They feel powerless if they can't control somebody. Okay? And that's another thing. This is why they're bullies. Okay? They're cry bullies, too. If someone snarks back and throws a beat down, the first thing they're going to do is say, it wasn't my fault, it's her fault. She was mean, she was a bully. Even though when you look at the incident, they're the ones that started it. They're the ones that caused that reaction. Again, And then I'm going to leave you guys. Of course, it's an illusion, and that's the thing they don't understand. Shit, what was I going to say? Disney, and it's not like Disney doesn't know Pablo does this. I mean, he has left Twitter, gone into hiding more times than not. I remember seeing one of his friends write publicly, Pablo Hidalgo doesn't deserve this. And that was summer of 2018 after Soylo tanked. All right, Kennedy was probably blaming him. And that was right after, if you remember, the first big indication that there was something wrong at Lucasfilm. They had, and I think, who, Redneck? They had apparently Grace Randolph reported it. And I had heard this before. Hey Chris, I had heard this before. Yeah, well, maybe it was him. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there had been a meeting of Lucasfilm Britain and Lucasfilm California, and Iger was sitting in on it, and Kevin Feige was there. And I guess all hell broke loose. And then suddenly you got Hidalgo crying and whining on Twitter, and then going into a secure account, but not after all these machinations happened. And one of his friends wrote, Pablo Hidalgo doesn't deserve this. No, it hasn't been. The rumor is that Doomcock reported is that Favreau was the one behind it being printed up and put on Amazon to teach Bob Iger a lesson. And Disney, that people want Star Wars, they just don't want that Star Wars. Okay, that High Republic. And how just what a failure the High Republic is. Okay. But that argument that when, and Mazars remembers because I think it was Craig who actually told that story, and then Grace Randolph told that story. So it's not like Craig didn't have any connections. He just knew about this. His connection at Lucasfilm told him. And that was the first time Pablo, after that happened, that Pablo publicly looked bad. I mean, publicly got his hand slapped. And then we had this next round where he just went into a secured account. And then even with that, he couldn't avoid getting in trouble because he went after Star Wars theory. You know? I mean, the guy is a menace. So if Doomcock is right, and it looks like Kennedy is either out or on a very long vacation and isn't touching Star Wars anymore, and they're just waiting to send her out on her float, I would say that a lot of the changes may be coming sooner than rather than later. And you know, Gina. Oh, I know, Maze. I mean, that was just. It's Pablo has a secured account, and he still couldn't keep his mouth shut. He still couldn't. Twitter is forever, and no, it's not private. It's not. Just because you have your account secured and not everybody can see it, it doesn't mean that somebody can't copy or, you know, screen shoot your tweet and then send it to the target of your bullshit, which is exactly what happened. What a dumbass. I mean, he's really not that bright. You know, there's a reason why you don't go on Twitter. Cool people don't go on Twitter. Okay. You know, that being said, I'm not cool. I'd like to go back there just to get the mocking, just start with the, prepare the mockery. Yeah, well, he's They were pissed. The end of Mandalorian episode 16, they were pissed. They were spitting nails, the story group, because they all hate Luke, because white man bad. But it totally drowned out any hype they were hoping for the High Republic. And even if Luke didn't show up, no one wants the fucking High Republic because it's everybody together. Trash! Anyway, I gotta go see my horse and get a workout done. I gotta let the dog out before I go. You guys have a good day. Interesting news. I really hope that stuff about Gina being on the set of Boba Fett is true. But if anything else happens, I'll be back. And y'all have a good day. See you around the galaxy.